Mom promised my inheritance to my stepbrother, so I handed her the letter Dad left for me before he died. My mother sat across from me at the kitchen table, her new husband Roger standing behind her like a bodyguard. "Nora, you need to understand. Trevor needs this money more than you do," she said, talking about my stepbrother like he was some charity case. Trevor was 32, unemployed by choice, and had been living in my mother's house rent-free for 3 years. I was 28, working as a physical therapist, financially stable, and apparently not worth protecting. Dad left that money to me. In his will. It's been in a trust for 10 years, waiting for me to turn 28. That was his wish. Your father's been dead a decade, Nora. Things change. Roger and I have discussed it, and we think splitting the inheritance between you and Trevor is the fair thing to do. Fair. She used the word fair like it meant something. My father died of cancer when I was 18. Before he passed, he'd set up a trust fund with money from selling his business. $200,000, specifically for me, to be released when I turned 28. Not when I got married. Not when I had kids. When I turned 28, because Dad said that's when people really know who they are. I turned 28 last month. The trust money was supposed to transfer to my account this week. Apparently, my mother had other plans. Trevor wants to start a business, Roger said, his voice gruff. He's got ambition. Dreams. He just needs seed money. Trevor's ambitions included a failed food truck, a failed dog walking service, and a failed attempt at day trading that lost his mother's $10,000. What kind of business? I asked, though I already knew this would be ridiculous. A bar, my mother said. Trevor's always wanted to run a bar. He just needs capital to get started. A bar. My father's hard-earned money, saved and invested for a decade, was going to fund my stepbrother's dive bar dream. No, I said simply. You don't have a choice, Roger said. Your mother is the trustee. She controls when and how the money gets distributed. That stopped me cold. What? I'm the trustee, my mother confirmed. Your father made me the trustee before he died. He trusted me to make the right decisions about your inheritance. The right decision is giving it to me. Like Dad wanted. Your father wanted what was best for you. I'm deciding what's best for the whole family. The whole family. Meaning Roger and Trevor, the 2 men who'd entered our lives 5 years after Dad died. Men who had no connection to my father, no claim to his legacy. This is theft, I said quietly. It's not theft. It's reallocation. Trevor gets half to start his business. You get half for whatever you need. Everyone's happy. I'm not happy. My mother's face hardened. You're being selfish, Nora. Trevor is your brother now. Family helps family. He's not my brother. He's your husband's son. And I'm your daughter. Your actual daughter, whose father worked himself to death building a business so I'd be taken care of. Your father would want you to share. No, I said, standing up. He wouldn't. And I can prove it. I pulled an envelope from my purse. Yellowed with age, my name written across the front in Dad's handwriting. My mother's face went pale. What is that? A letter. From Dad. He gave it to me the week before he died. Told me to open it if anyone ever tried to take my inheritance. It was a lie. Sort of. Dad had given me a letter, but I'd opened it years ago. Read it so many times the paper was soft from handling. But my mother didn't know that. Let me see that, Roger demanded, reaching for it. I pulled back. It's addressed to me. Not you. Not Mom. Me. Nora, honey, let's be reasonable, my mother said, her tone shifting from firm to pleading. Whatever that letter says, it was written a long time ago. Your father couldn't have known how things would turn out. He knew exactly how things would turn out. That's why he wrote it. I opened the envelope slowly, making them wait. The letter was 3 pages, handwritten. I'd memorized every word years ago. Dear Nora, I began reading aloud. If you're reading this, it means someone is trying to take the money I left you. I'm guessing it's your mother. I love her, but I know her weaknesses. She's too generous with the wrong people. Too trusting of anyone who tells her what she wants to hear. My mother flinched. Your father was sick when he wrote that. He wasn't thinking clearly. Let her finish, Roger said, surprisingly. I continued. The $200,000 in the trust is yours alone. Not to be shared, not to be divided, not to be given away to make someone else happy. I worked 60-hour weeks for 20 years to build that business. I sold it while dying of cancer to make sure you'd be secure. This money represents my entire life's work. Don't let anyone take it from you. The kitchen was silent. I kept reading. If your mother is the one trying to take this money, know that I still love her. But I also know she'll remarry. She'll want to make her new husband happy. She'll want to prove she's a good stepmother to his children. And she'll sacrifice your inheritance to do it. Don't let her. This money is your security. Your freedom. Your future. Fight for it. I looked up at my mother. Tears were running down her face. I trusted your father to make me trustee because he loved me, she whispered. He did love you, I agreed. But he loved me more. Enough to protect me from your worst impulses. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Dad died when I was 18. Right before college. You know who paid for college? I did. Working 2 jobs while taking classes full-time. You know who paid for Dad's funeral? His life insurance, which went entirely to you. You got the house, the cars, his retirement savings. Everything except the trust fund he specifically set aside for his daughter. My mother's face crumbled. I needed that money. I had bills. You remarried a man with money, I interrupted. Roger's pension covers your bills. You're comfortable. Meanwhile, I'd been struggling for a decade, waiting for the inheritance Dad promised me. Roger put his hand on my mother's shoulder. Show her the rest of the letter. I was surprised he was taking my side. There's more? My mother asked. Much more. I turned to the second page. I've taken steps to protect Nora's inheritance. The trust is set up so that if anyone tries to change the terms, delay the distribution, or reduce the amount, the trustee loses all authority. The trust then transfers to a backup trustee I've named. My mother's face went white. Who's the backup trustee? Dad's lawyer. Bernard Whitmore. Still practicing law downtown. I'd talked to Bernard last week when my mother first mentioned sharing my inheritance. He'd confirmed everything in Dad's letter. Your father never told me about that provision, my mother said. Because he knew you'd try to work around it. But he was thorough, Mom. The trust document is ironclad. If you try to give any of my money to Trevor, you lose control entirely. Bernard takes over and distributes the full amount directly to me. That's manipulative, Roger said. That's protective, I corrected. Dad knew exactly what he was doing. My mother stood up, angry now. I'm your mother. I've raised you, loved you, sacrificed for you. And you're going to choose money over family? You chose money over family when you decided to give my inheritance to Trevor. Trevor needs it more. Why? Because he's too lazy to work? Because he's failed at every business he's tried? Because Roger wants to feel like a good father by throwing money at his deadbeat son? Roger's face turned red. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll kick me out of a house you've only lived in for 3 years? A house my father paid for? I think you should leave, my mother said coldly. Gladly. I grabbed my purse and the letter. I'll be contacting Bernard tomorrow to discuss having you removed as trustee. You've already tried to change the distribution terms. That violates the trust. Nora, wait, I'm done waiting. I've waited 10 years for this money. 10 years of struggling while you played happy family with Roger and Trevor. No more. I walked out. My hands were shaking as I drove home. I'd never spoken to my mother like that. Never challenged her so directly. But she'd pushed too far. My apartment was small but mine. 1 bedroom in an older building, affordable but not fancy. I'd been planning to use Dad's inheritance as a down payment on a house. My own place, with a yard, maybe room for a dog. Those plans seemed further away than ever. I called Bernard Whitmore. He answered even though it was 8 p.m. Nora, I was expecting your call. Your mother contacted me this afternoon. What did she say? She asked if there was any way to modify the trust to include Trevor. I told her absolutely not. What happens now? Now I file paperwork to remove her as trustee. Given that she's attempted to violate the terms, it should be straightforward. You'll have full access to your inheritance within a week. Relief washed over me. Thank you, Bernard. Your father was a good man. A smart man. He saw this coming a mile away. After hanging up, I reread Dad's letter for the 100th time. The last page always made me cry. Nora, if you're reading this final page, it means you've had to fight for your inheritance. I'm sorry. I tried to set things up so you wouldn't have to. But life is complicated, and people are weak. Your mother isn't a bad person. She just wants everyone to be happy, even at the expense of people who deserve better. Don't hate her for this. She can't help who she is. But don't let her guilt you into giving up what's yours. You earned this money by being my daughter. By making my last years meaningful. By loving me through the worst time of my life. This money is my thank you. My final gift. My way of taking care of you when I can't be there anymore. Use it wisely. Buy a house. Start a business. Travel the world. Whatever makes you happy. Just don't give it away to prove you're generous. Being kind doesn't mean being stupid. I fell asleep that night holding the letter, feeling Dad's presence like he was right there protecting me. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. My mother, we need to talk. Please. Roger, your mother is devastated. You've hurt her deeply. Trevor, wow. Didn't know you were so greedy. I ignored them all and went to Bernard's office. He had paperwork ready for me to sign. This removes your mother as trustee and names me as successor trustee until the distribution is complete. Once you sign, I'll file it with the court and notify your mother. How will she react? Probably not well. But Nora, she violated the trust terms. She left me no choice. I signed the papers. Bernard filed them electronically while I waited. Done. Your mother will receive notice today. The money should transfer to your account by Friday. 3 days. After 10 years of waiting, I just had to survive 3 more days. Those 3 days were hell. My mother called constantly. Left voicemails ranging from apologetic to accusatory. How could you do this to me? Your father would be ashamed. I'm your mother. You owe me respect. Roger sent texts threatening legal action. Trevor posted on social media about entitled family members who won't share. I blocked them all and focused on work. Helped patients with their physical therapy. Smiled and encouraged and pretended my family wasn't falling apart. Friday morning, I checked my bank account. $200,000. Plus 10 years of investment growth. The total was $287,000. I sat staring at the number, crying. Dad had done this. Worked himself to exhaustion, planned everything perfectly, protected me from beyond the grave. The first thing I did was call Bernard. It's there. All of it. Good. Your father would be proud. Thank you for helping him. For helping me. It was my honor. Your father was a good client and a better man. Next, I looked at houses. With $287,000, I could put down a substantial payment and still have money left over. By Sunday, I'd found it. A 3-bedroom house with a big backyard, good neighborhood, 30 minutes from work. The asking price was $300,000. I offered $290,000, willing to use almost all the inheritance. The seller accepted. I'd own a house. Actually own it, not rent it. Have equity, space, freedom. Everything Dad wanted for me. Moving day was 3 weeks later. Friends helped me pack and transport my limited belongings. The house felt enormous compared to my apartment. My mother tried to visit. Showed up unannounced while I was unpacking. I saw her through the window and didn't answer the door. She knocked for 5 minutes, then left. That evening, she sent a text, "I see you bought a house. I'm happy for you. Can we please talk?" I typed and deleted several responses before settling on. Not yet. 3 months passed. I settled into my house, made it a home. Painted walls, planted a garden, adopted a dog from the shelter. A golden retriever mix named Murphy who loved the backyard. Work was good. I'd been promoted to senior therapist with a raise. Between my salary and not paying rent, I was saving money for the first time in my adult life. My mother kept trying. Occasional texts, cards in the mail, friend requests on social media I didn't accept. I wasn't ready. Then one Saturday, Roger showed up. Alone. I considered not answering, but curiosity won. "What do you want?" I asked through the screen door. "To apologize." "Can I come in?" I let him in, though I stayed guarded. Roger looked older than I remembered. Tired. "I was wrong," he said simply. "About pushing for Trevor to get half your inheritance. It wasn't my business. Wasn't my money. I overstepped." "Yes, you did. Trevor's my son. I've enabled him his whole life. Tried to fix his problems with money instead of making him fix himself. Your mother and I both did that." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because your mother is miserable. She misses you. And because I realize I almost cost you a relationship with your only parent to benefit my deadbeat son." I didn't know what to say to that. "Trevor moved out," Roger continued. "We told him he needed to get a job and start paying rent or leave. He left. Haven't heard from him in a month. I'm sorry." "Don't be. It was time. Maybe past time." Roger looked around my living room. "This is a nice place. Your father would be proud." "I hope so. Can I tell you something about your dad? Man to man, even though I never met him?" I nodded. "The way he set up that trust, the protections he put in place, the letter he left you? That's the work of a father who loved his daughter more than anything. I've never done anything like that for Trevor. Hell, I'd barely done the opposite. Just threw money at problems and hoped they'd go away." "It's not too late to change that," I said. "Maybe. But my point is, your father was a good man. And your mother loved him. Really loved him. She's not trying to replace him with me or erase his memory. She just got confused about what family means. Thought it meant making everyone equally happy, even when that meant being unfair to the person who deserved it most. I appreciate you saying that. Will you talk to her?" "Not today, not tomorrow. But eventually?" "Eventually," I agreed. Roger left. I sat with Murphy on my couch, thinking about forgiveness and family and what Dad would want. Another month passed. Then my mother sent a text, "Your birthday is next week. Can I take you to dinner? Just the two of us. No Roger, no Trevor, no agenda. Just mom and daughter." I stared at the message for an hour before responding, "Okay." We met at a quiet Italian restaurant. My mother looked nervous, older. We ordered food and sat in awkward silence. "Your house is beautiful," she finally said. "Roger told me he visited." "He did. He apologized." "He should. We both should." "Nora, I'm so sorry. I was wrong to try to give Trevor your inheritance. I was wrong to prioritize his needs over yours. I was wrong to forget that you're my daughter and he's just my husband's son. I know. Your father would have been furious with me. He set up that trust to protect you, and I tried to circumvent it. I betrayed his wishes and your trust." "Yes, you did." She was crying now. "Can you forgive me?" "I don't know. Not yet. But maybe eventually. That's more than I deserve." We ate in silence for a while. Then my mother said, "Tell me about your house. About Murphy. About your life. I've missed so much." So I told her. About the garden I'd planted. About Murphy's silly habits. About my promotion at work. About feeling financially secure for the first time ever. She listened without interrupting, just being my mother for the first time in years. "I'm proud of you," she said when I finished. "Your father would be too. You took his gift and used it wisely. Built something real. That's what he wanted." "I know. I read the letter. The one your father left you." After Bernard filed the paperwork, I requested a copy from the trust file. "What did you think?" "I thought he knew me too well. Knew my weaknesses. Knew I'd remarry and try to make everyone happy at your expense. He was protecting you from me. He was protecting both of us. From making a mistake we couldn't undo." My mother smiled sadly. "He really did love you more than anything. He loved you too. He told me that before he died. Said you were the best thing that ever happened to him, even if you weren't perfect." "I wasn't perfect. I'm still not. Nobody is. We didn't fix everything that night. Didn't erase months of hurt and anger. But we started talking again. Started rebuilding. Over the next year, my mother and I slowly repaired our relationship. She came to my house for holidays. Met Murphy. Helped me with my garden. We never talked about Trevor or the inheritance. Those subjects were closed. Roger and my mother seemed different too. Calmer. Less focused on enabling Trevor and more focused on their own relationship. Trevor, I heard through the grapevine, had moved to Arizona. Got a job as a bartender, rented an apartment, was apparently doing okay. Not great, but okay. Maybe being cut off had been good for him. On the anniversary of Dad's death, I visited his grave. Brought flowers and sat on the grass talking to him like I used to. "I kept the money, Dad. All of it. Used it to buy a house, just like you wanted. I'm happy. Stable. Everything you hoped for." The wind rustled through the trees, and I felt at peace. 2 years after the trust fund battle, I met someone. A physical therapist at a different clinic, tall with kind eyes and a gentle sense of humor. His name was Ethan. We dated for 6 months before I told him about the inheritance and the fight with my family. "That must have been terrible," he said. "It was. But it taught me something important." "What?" "That protecting yourself isn't selfish. That having boundaries is necessary. That people will ask you to sacrifice yourself for their convenience, and you have to say no." Ethan kissed my forehead. "Your dad sounds like he was a smart man." He was. I wish you could have met him. A year later, Ethan proposed. We got married in my backyard, small ceremony with close friends and family. My mother was there, Roger beside her. No Trevor, which was fine with everyone. During the reception, my mother pulled me aside. "Your father would have loved this. Loved seeing you so happy." "I know. I feel him here." I'm sorry, I almost ruined this. Almost ruined you getting to this point. Mom, we've moved past that. Let it go. I just want you to know I've learned something. You can't sacrifice one child to make another child happy. You can't play favorites or redistribute love and money to even things out. Every person deserves what's theirs. Yes, they do. Your father knew that. I'm just sorry it took me so long to understand. We hugged, and I felt the last bit of resentment drain away. 3 years after getting my inheritance, Ethan and I decided to start a business together. A physical therapy clinic specializing in sports injuries. You sure you want to use your savings for this? Ethan asked. It's risky. My dad's money has been sitting in investments. Growing but not being used. I think he'd love that I'm using it to build something, the way he built his business. What if it fails? Then we learn from it and try something else. But I don't think it'll fail. We're good at what we do. The clinic opened 6 months later. Within a year, we were profitable. Within 2 years, we'd hired 3 more therapists and were looking to expand. I thought about Dad every day. About his sacrifices, his planning, his love. The money he left me hadn't just bought a house. It had bought confidence, security, the ability to take risks knowing I had a safety net. On my 33rd birthday, my mother gave me a small box. Inside was a watch. Dad's watch, the one he'd worn every day. He wanted you to have this, my mother said. Left it to me in the will to give you when you were settled. When you'd built a life. I think now is the right time. I put on the watch. It was heavy, old-fashioned, beautiful. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for fighting for what your father wanted. For not letting me mess it up completely. That night, wearing Dad's watch, I stood in my backyard with Ethan and Murphy. The clinic was thriving. My marriage was happy. My relationship with my mother was healed. Everything Dad had wanted for me had come true. Because he protected me. Planned ahead. Loved me enough to anticipate problems and solve them before they destroyed me. Some people might think the money was the gift. But it wasn't. The real gift was Dad teaching me that I deserved to be protected. That my inheritance, my security, my future mattered. That saying no to people who wanted to take from me wasn't mean. It was necessary. Trevor never did get his bar. I heard he was managing one in Phoenix now. Still living paycheck to paycheck, still making bad decisions. I didn't feel bad for him. Everyone has their own path. His just didn't include my father's money. My mother and Roger were doing well. They'd downsized to a smaller house, traveled more, focused on each other instead of trying to fix Trevor. Occasionally my mother would say something like, I wonder if Trevor would have turned out better if we'd been stricter earlier. And I'd say, maybe. But that wasn't my responsibility to fix. She'd nod, understanding finally that you can't sacrifice one child to save another. When I was 35, Ethan and I had our first child. A daughter we named Emma. Holding her in the hospital, I thought about Dad. About the inheritance he'd left me that made this life possible. I'm going to set up a trust for her, I told Ethan. Like your dad did for you? Exactly like that. With protections, with clear instructions, with a letter explaining why I'm doing it this way. You think she'll need those protections? I hope not. But if she does, they'll be there. Just like Dad's were there for me. We set up Emma's trust with Bernard's help. Put money aside that would be hers at 28. Wrote her a letter explaining that this was her security, her freedom, her future. That nobody, not even her parents, could take it from her. Your dad would approve, Ethan said, reading the letter. I hope so. I'm trying to love her the way he loved me. Protectively. Intentionally. With planning and foresight. That's good parenting. That's what he taught me. Emma grew up in the house Dad's money bought. Played in the yard, learned to walk in the living room, had birthday parties on the patio. She never knew her grandfather, but she knew his legacy. "Grandpa built this house?" she asked when she was 5. "Kind of. Grandpa gave Mommy money to buy this house. He wanted to make sure I had a safe place to live." "Was Grandpa nice?" "Grandpa was the best person I ever knew. He worked very hard to take care of me, even after he died." "How do you take care of someone after you die?" "By planning ahead. By leaving them things they need. By protecting them even when you can't be there." Emma thought about this seriously. "When I die, I'll take care of my kids too." "That's good, sweetheart. That's what family does." My mother was a loving grandmother to Emma. She babysat, played games, baked cookies. Never tried to interfere with parenting decisions or undermine our choices. She'd learned her lesson about boundaries. One afternoon while my mother was watching Emma, I asked her something I'd been wondering. "Do you regret marrying Roger?" She thought carefully. "No. He's a good man. He makes me happy. I just regret trying to merge our families in ways that weren't fair to you." "What about Trevor? Do you still talk to him?" "Occasionally. Birthday calls, that sort of thing. He seems okay. Not happy exactly, but surviving. That's his choice." "I know. Took me a long time to accept that I can't save him. Can't fix him. Can only love him from a distance and hope he figures it out. That's healthy. Your father would say it's 10 years too late, but better late than never." We laughed, and it felt good. The old resentment was gone, replaced by understanding. When Emma was 7, we opened a second clinic location. Business was booming. Ethan and I were making more money than either of us had dreamed. "Your dad's investment in you is paying dividends he never could have imagined," Ethan said one night. "It's not just the money. It's what the money represented. Security. Confidence. Permission to dream. I'm glad he protected you." "Me too. I'm glad he loved me enough to see ahead, to anticipate problems, to solve them before they crushed me." On Emma's 8th birthday, my mother gave her a card with $50 inside. A generous grandma gift. Emma hugged her. "Thank you, Grandma." "You're welcome, sweetie. Maybe save some and spend some?" "Mommy says saving is important." "Your mommy is smart. Just like your grandpa was." After Emma went to play, my mother pulled me aside. "I put some money in a college fund for her. Nothing huge, just $5,000 to get it started. Is that okay?" "That's wonderful, Mom. Thank you. I wanted to help. But I wanted to ask first this time. Make sure I wasn't overstepping." "You're not overstepping. You're being a good grandmother." She smiled, and I saw genuine happiness in her face. Happiness that didn't come from controlling or managing, but from giving freely and appropriately. That's growth, I thought. That's what it looks like when people learn from mistakes. When Emma turned 10, I showed her a picture of her grandfather. "This is my dad. Your grandpa. He died before you were born. He looks nice. He was nice. And smart. And very good at taking care of people he loved." "Did he take care of you?" "Very much. He left me money that helped me buy this house and start my business. Money that made our whole life possible. I'm glad he did that." "Me too, baby. Me too." I told her about the trust fund. How Grandpa had planned ahead. How Grandma had almost given the money to someone else. How I'd fought for it. "You had to fight your own mom?" Emma asked, shocked. "Yes. It was hard. But sometimes you have to fight for what's yours, even when it's uncomfortable." "Did you stay mad forever?" "No. We fixed our relationship. But it took time and work from both of us." "I'm glad you're not mad anymore." "Me too. Emma hugged me, and I thought about how lucky I was to have a daughter who felt safe, secure, protected. A daughter who'd never have to fight for her inheritance because we'd learned from the past. When I turned 40, Ethan threw me a surprise party. Friends, family, co-workers all gathered at our house. My mother was there, Roger beside her, both looking genuinely happy for me. During the party, Bernard Whitmore approached me. He was in his 70s now, still practicing law but talking about retirement. "Your father would be so proud," Bernard said. "Proud of the business, the family, everything you've built. I couldn't have done it without his planning. Without you protecting that plan. Your father was one of my favorite clients. Not because he was wealthy or important, but because he loved his daughter more than anything. That kind of love is rare. I try to love Emma that way. I can tell. The trust you set up for her, the protections you've included, they're just like your father's. You learned from the best." After the party, after everyone left, I sat in my backyard with Ethan. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "About Dad. About how everything good in my life traces back to his love and planning." "You think about him a lot." "I do. Especially when things are going well. I want him to see it. Want him to know it worked. He knows. Somehow, wherever he is, he knows." I hoped that was true. 3 years later, when Emma was 13, my mother got sick. Cancer, just like Dad. The irony wasn't lost on any of us. "I'm scared," she admitted in the hospital. "I know, Mom. I was scared too when Dad was sick. I don't want to die with regrets. With things unsaid. Then say them." She took my hand. "I'm sorry for almost taking your inheritance. Sorry for putting Trevor ahead of you. Sorry for all the years I made you feel second best. I forgave you, Mom. Years ago. I know. But I needed to say it one more time. To make sure you knew. I know. I've always known. Your father was right to protect you from me. I needed those boundaries. Needed to be stopped from making a terrible mistake. He loved us both. That's why he protected us. I love you, Nora. More than I've probably ever shown. I love you too, Mom." She survived the cancer. Through surgery and chemo, came out the other side weaker but alive. Roger took care of her with a devotion I hadn't known he possessed. "She's my world," he told me one day. "I almost lost her once by pushing that business with Trevor. I won't make that mistake again. You're a good husband." "I'm trying to be." "Your father set a high bar." "He did. But you're reaching it." The years passed. Emma grew up, went to college, became a teacher. She met someone, fell in love, got engaged. At her wedding, I stood with my mother and Roger, watching my daughter dance with her new husband. "Your father would have loved this," my mother said. "He would have loved her." I know. I see him in her sometimes. The way she plans ahead. The way she protects the people she loves. That's your influence. You taught her to be strong. Dad taught me to be strong. I'm just passing it on. When Emma turned 28, we threw her a party. Small, intimate, just family and close friends. I'd been managing her trust since Dad passed when she was 10. Had been careful, responsible, growing it just like Dad had grown mine. After the cake, I gave Emma an envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Your inheritance. From me and your dad. We set it up when you were born." She opened it carefully. Inside was a letter and a bank statement showing $200,000. "Mom, this is too much." "It's exactly right. My father left me money that changed my life. I'm doing the same for you. With the same protections, the same love, the same hope that you'll use it wisely." Emma was crying. "Thank you. There's a letter too." Like my dad wrote for me. Read it when you're ready. That night, Emma called me. I read the letter. The whole thing. What did you think? I think you're the best mom in the world. And Grandpa was the best grandfather, even though I never met him. He loved you. Would have loved seeing who you became. The letter says I can never share this money. That it's mine alone. Even if someone I love needs it. That's right. This is your security. Your freedom. Your future. Don't give it away to prove you're generous. Being kind doesn't mean being stupid. Emma laughed. That's exactly what the letter says. Because it's true. Grandpa taught me that. I'm teaching you. I'm going to use it for a down payment on a house. Just like you did. That's perfect. That's exactly what it's for. After hanging up, I sat with Ethan on our porch. The same porch where I'd played as a child. Where Dad had sat during his last summer. You did good, Ethan said. Passed on the legacy. Dad did good. I'm just following his example. Now I'm 50. Emma owns her house. Has a good life. My business is thriving and my marriage is strong.